Lately, there's been quite an echo across media circles after Hamid Mir's latest video on Ayub Khan. His presentation reignited debate over one of Pakistan's most controversial leaders. So, we decided to take a closer look, to review his claims, verify the facts, and bring you an unbiased, neutral investigation. In this video, we'll critically explore what Hamid Mir presented, compare it with historical records, and separate fact from perception. Before we begin, it's important to acknowledge that Hamid Mir is among Pakistan's most respected and courageous journalists. His bold approach and fearless reporting have earned him both admiration and criticism. But his contribution to professional journalism remains undeniable. We appreciate his work, we respect his dedication, and as his longtime viewers, this analysis is not about discrediting him, but about understanding history through balanced scrutiny. In 1958, Pakistan faced a political crisis. A fragile parliamentary system, short-lived governments, and deep factionalism threatened the young nation's stability. Into this vacuum stepped Field Marshal Ayub Khan, the army chief, who imposed martial law on 27 October 1958, abrogating the 1956 constitution. Today, we critically examine, was Ayub Khan responsible for the eventual breakup of Pakistan in 1971? How did his martial law reshape the country? And did his reforms help or harm the unity of Pakistan? Using insights from K.K. Aziz's The Murder of History in Pakistan, let's explore the era that changed Pakistan forever. The political instability of the 1950s provided the backdrop for Ayub Khan's rise. Governments collapsed frequently, with parties unable to govern effectively. Ayub's solution? Military takeover. Martial law centralized power in the presidency, sidelined political parties, and suspended the constitution. While he justified this as necessary for stability, critics argue it weakened democracy and set a precedent for military dominance in Pakistani politics. K.K. Aziz highlights how, under Ayub Khan, textbooks and official narratives began replacing nuanced history with hero worship and myth. Children were taught to admire strongmen and technocrats, not understand democratic processes. The long-term consequence was a generation conditioned to accept authoritarian solutions, eroding the culture of political accountability. To legitimize his rule, Ayub Khan introduced the Basic Democracies system in 1960-61. Ostensibly a local governance reform, it was a controlled electoral mechanism. Only a small number of elected representatives formed an electoral college to vote for the president. Political parties were weak or banned, ensuring Ayub's dominance. Economically, Ayub prioritized industrial growth and infrastructure projects in West Pakistan. Urban centers thrived, but East Pakistan was neglected despite being the majority population and main revenue generator. The economic disparity created resentment, fueling the seeds of separatism. K.K. Aziz criticizes this system as not genuine democracy, but a technocratic facade that concentrated power and alienated the public. By ignoring East Pakistan's political and economic grievances, Ayub Khan set the stage for a crisis that would erupt violently in the 1970s. The 1965 war with India was a pivotal moment. While state propaganda called it a victory, the Tashkent Agreement and unaddressed internal grievances weakened Ayub's legitimacy, particularly in East Pakistan. Meanwhile, dissatisfaction grew in West Pakistan as well. Urban middle classes, students, and labor groups protested economic inequality, corruption, and lack of political freedom. Ayub's centralized control prevented dialogue, suppressing dissent rather than addressing the root causes. The gap between state propaganda and reality widened, further eroding trust. Historians argue that the combination of repressive politics, regional inequality, and distorted education during Ayub's era directly contributed to Pakistan's later fragmentation. East Pakistan, despite its population majority, remained politically marginalized under Ayub. Economic policies favored West Pakistan's elite, while East Pakistanis had little representation in decision-making. The Basic Democracies system, centralized bureaucracy, and controlled press reinforced the sense of disenfranchisement. By the late 1960s, East Pakistan demanded political rights, economic parity, and autonomy. Ayub's failure to respond to these grievances, combined with his repression of dissent, created conditions for the mass uprising of 1969, which eventually led to his resignation. KK Aziz argues that this alienation was not accidental, it was a direct consequence of Ayub's authoritarian structures, centralized governance, and West-centric policies. Positive aspects of Ayub Khan's rule: industrialization and infrastructure development in West Pakistan, strategic foreign relations, Indus Waters Treaty, US aid, closer ties with China. Critical legacy: centralization of power weakened democracy, political repression entrenched military dominance in politics, regional disparities and neglect of East Pakistan sowed seeds of disintegration. Educational narratives glorified strongmen and distorted history, reducing critical thinking and fostering authoritarian acceptance. While Ayub was not directly responsible for the 1971 breakup, his policies, governance style, and political suppression created the environment in which it became inevitable. In conclusion, Ayub Khan's martial law of 1958, his centralized reforms, and West-centric policies played a crucial role in weakening national cohesion. The breakup of Pakistan in 1971 was not an immediate consequence, but the cumulative effect of authoritarianism, economic disparity, and political marginalization. KK Aziz's The Murder of History in Pakistan reminds us that when history is manipulated, governance is centralized, and dissent is suppressed, the consequences can be profound and irreversible. Ayub Khan's era offers Pakistan a critical lesson. Development without democracy and progress without inclusion can lead to national disintegration. Thank you for watching. Comment below. Do you think Pakistan could have avoided the 1971 breakup if Ayub had pursued democratic governance instead of martial law? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And keep watching our new Quran study starting from November 15th, 2025.